You good? Here you are.
I'm here.
Yeah, well.
It only took...
Last time you were here, we were like not in the middle of the pandemic, but we were kind of in the middle. Like, we were like toward. I think you were here.
You made me sit in a different room.
Yeah. That was the height of the pandemic. That was like 2 years ago.
No.
Yeah, 2020. No. Yeah, the summer of 2020. Yeah, I only did a handful of shows in different rooms.
Okay.
So
I was in.
So I won't rib you too hard, but I'm glad you're here. It took a while.
I like the new place.
Do you?
I do.
It's different.
It is slightly different.
It's bigger.
Did it take a long time to get all your gear?
If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. I did it myself. No,
I do believe that actually about you.
Chris Moser wired everything, but in terms of moving everything, like the tables, and I mean, I did with just put it in my pickup truck over like 2 weeks and just got it up here. It was therapy. I needed that.
Yeah.
That break.
Right.
But fuck, man, it was a lot of work. Wouldn't do it again.
I like it here. Yeah, it's good. It's a good vibe.
There's parking.
No more creepy long hallway.
Yeah, there's lighting out there. The bathroom is now a couple levels above a dive bar, as opposed to before it was dive bar level.
So my feet won't stick to the floor anymore, is what you're saying? I
don't think so. No, okay. I mean, I'm missing some quarter round in there, but it's clean.
Can my ass touch the seat in this bathroom?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cleaned regularly. Yeah.
Good to know.
Anyways, thanks for coming and doing this. No problem. Hopefully we can get you on a regular basis. That was the initial plan. But,
right.
You know, shit goes crazy.
So,
you know, you and I have a lot to talk about. We can go all the way back to, like, you know, because you left here in the height of the fucking pandemic. And you were talking about, hey, it's great because I don't have to shave my legs and throw on a little deodorant and just put a baseball cap on and just go. Life's kind of like not like that anymore.
No. Almost back to normal, I feel like, maybe, right? Like the kids are doing their thing and driving me crazy again, you know. The last 2 years, wow. I can't even process all of that. Like what time has been like. I will say.
What is time anymore?
I don't even know what day it is every day.
That was the pandemic. That's the first thing you said when you came in the middle of 2020. You go, Eric, I don't know what day it is. Every day's Groundhog Day. It's all the same.
Right.
You still feel that way?
Yes. Kind of. I have the biggest old lady calendar where I write things down. It was like, use your phone. I'm like, I can't. That's a little too much. I got the big calendar. I got the little baby calendar in my purse.
So you're old school.
I am. I take the cards from the doctor's appointments because I go to with my lupus and stuff. I see a million doctors for everything. But I think in the last 2 years, I just don't like people. Is that a fair place to start?
That's a great opening. Yeah, you don't like peopling anymore.
Oh, I don't. I used to just love
all
the people.
I know.
I just talked about this with my best friend. We had her birthday party, surprise party, very intimate. Zero drama, nobody crying in the corner, nobody fighting about stuff. And it was just all the right people. And some of these people didn't even know each other. Yeah.
But it was a good crowd.
And I said, it was just, I want a redo of that atmosphere. And she said, do you remember when you'd have parties and there'd be like 85 people there and I just wanted everyone to come together.
Okay.
Right? That was just me. I just loved it. Loved everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. No.
So what changed you?
No. I still like to see what the good people that were in my life are doing. Mm-hmm. I let the people I think during the last 2 years, the people that I let exit stage left, it was just time, you know? Okay. So I don't really have any regrets as far as who I let in and out of my life, but I just feel like I took the good pieces that I could from them, but ultimately, there's only so much that was being brought to the table.
Sure.
And I consistently will try to save everybody while I'm taking the shovel and digging myself the fucking biggest swimming pool, you know? So, and I had like a really rough few years with that. I thought that I was cruising through the pandemic. Like I was still working out and doing all these things. And I'm like, I'm doing this and I'm watching everybody else like plummet mentally. And I'm like, I'm doing so well, but like, really, like, was I, or was I just, not processing? And then when I started to process it, man, I hit like the wall real hard, really, really hard. And a lot of things I just shut down completely. So now I feel really light.
You got your brains back.
Yes. So yeah, but in doing that, it's really about finding like the value in the people that are still in your life. I mean, I know you and I have talked about this. You carry some small, close friendships, meaningful,
of course,
friendships.
Not many.
Right. Know who your acquaintances are and what value they bring you, and stick with your boundaries. Like,
that's the big one.
The boundary thing is for like, it's not for anybody. This is what I try teaching my kids. Like, it doesn't matter if someone likes your boundaries or not. It doesn't even matter if someone likes you or not.
Right.
So they can, again, go do their thing. But the worst thing about it is nobody wants to really work on themselves. What they want to do is project.
Of course. That's a problem with social media in general, right? Yeah. The highlight reel, man. These companies put a big highlight reel mechanism out there, and we're just fucking feeding into it.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Just diving off.
Where's the feed at on here that says, I hate my life. My marriage fucking sucks. My kid's an addict. Where's all the things that are so real?
Right.
Right. I see a therapist twice a week. Things like that. Nobody's doing that.
No.
All everybody cares about is what everyone sees from,
whether it's true or it isn't true.
Correct.
So you got off Facebook. And when you told me you were going to do that, I was a little bummed because Facebook's the main thing as an older guy. That's what I'm on.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed by that because I'm still trying to figure out the Instagram world. But I'm dying to know, because it's been a year and a half. When did you get off Facebook?
Yeah, probably definitely over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you do it? And what has it been like since you've left?
So, I think it's very important to...
What came to the idea? What was the thing that sparked it? Like, I'm done with Facebook. Like, you just wake up one day and say, yeah, I don't like the interface, I'm done, or these people are nuts, or what was the thing?
I mean, people, yeah. I mean, I think people are actually nuts. I mean, I'm going to put myself in that. I think everybody is nuts in their own thing. I'm pretty good at, self-realization to some extent, owning the things. I really wanted to have more control over what I was following.
Okay.
I'm very, I think for me, I wanted to go into one platform and make sure that the things that I was feeding myself were, that they made me feel good. And part of the negativity and like the depression and the anxiety was stemming from oh, I want to be like that, or I want to look like that, or I would like to have that life, or I want to, and social media does that, you know, and I don't really know Facebook versus Instagram. I really just started getting a lot more active on Instagram again. It was mostly like just my kids and you know, the dog and things like that. I had to individually unfollow every fucking person. You had to individually.
Stop,
I had
stop. Wait. So wait a second. You just can't like terminate your account?
I wanted to keep the marketplace because I love like vintage furniture and I love like the people that give shit away sometimes.
So you want to keep the classified ad portion of it?
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Okay.
So, and you know, the kids' school has West Allegheny has
you really can't get away from it, really. It's
for
impossible.
Sports and things.
100%.
And, you know, my son who comes home and doesn't know anything about anything because he's a sophomore and he's all whatever. I find out a lot of information.
Of course you do.
Through there. So that's it. 0 friends. And this was the best part about getting off of, I found this kind of funny, is I had dozens of people like, are you mad at me?
Me included.
Nope. Yeah. No, I'm not mad at you. I'm
mad at everybody.
Fucking hate everybody. Yeah. So it was good. I thought it was a very healthy move.
Okay, so what was the first couple days like? Was it weird?
Yeah, because here's the thing. With Instagram, it will
they're connected, right? Facebook and Instagram are the same company. There's some interconnectivity there.
But it will even the when it doesn't feel that you've like touched the app, given it any attention, it'll put a little, asterisks up there, like it wants you to acknowledge it.
It's scary.
So it started to, like, if I don't know, I like asked a question. I asked somebody about eye cream, and this bitch like flags, and I'm all, wait, well, what's that? And I look on it, and it's, looking up things for eye cream for me.
That's a real thing.
And that's scary.
It's very scary.
What else does it know about me? Oh,
sorry, shutting that.
It's just, I'm done with some
shutting that fucking thing off.
Yeah, honest to God. I mean, it's crazy.
So so you still had the other outlet. You had Instagram as an outlet if you wanted to do social, but I mean, was there, like, because I spoke to one other person who did what you did, and they got off of everything, and they went through withdrawals for like a couple of months. It was hard for them. It was hard for them.
They actually do say that it's very much like a drug or alcohol or something that you're going to walk away from, or sugar, caffeine, and that your mind craves it. And that's really, really sad to me because I can't even imagine what like my kids, my son's going to be 17, my daughter's 12, and like what their minds are going to be like by the time they're our age with stuff like that. Yeah. So it's kind of sad. Nobody just sits and talks anymore.
Thus the show.
Yeah.
It's funny. We were just talking about this a little bit off camera. I was telling her, we're doing real conversations, and people still can't wrap their heads around that. But I think people are starting to get it now. When I first did the podcast, Nikki, people were saying, well, no one wants to listen to other people have conversations. I'm like, well, I don't know, but I'm seeing examples out there that people kind of are interested in watching other people live their lives and have conversations, things we used to do.
Right.
Right. But now it's like, there's no rational reason why Rogan or Adam Carolla or Tim Ferriss or any of these people should have a thing, because all this should just be part of our regular day.
Right. Right.
But we don't do this anymore.
Well, and also too, that all the people that we listen to, and whether you you listen to them for various reasons. People pick up different things that, maybe you can't put into words, but that something just clicks and it makes sense to you. And sometimes that's nice. And so like,
Agreed.
I like quotes and I really, it's funny. I really love the study of psychology. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. And it's really helped me in my own life. It's helped me with my kids and parenting. But psychology is a really cool thing because even though people might not really want to agree with you, people will literally watch this and they may agree with something I said, but not like me. But they won't give it to me. They won't give me the
but in some weird way that you have to, I agree with you, and I have found that to be true. And I've just come to the point, I get satisfaction by the fact that they pulled something from it.
100%.
You know what I mean? I'm good with that. I wasn't in the beginning, but I'm good with that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when you put yourself out there, when you, even in basic conversation,
right,
you're gonna be open for
criticism. Yeah, I mean, you have to have thick skin going into it. For you to even come here and sit here and have this conversation with me, there's already, and you've done it twice now, so you already understand there's going to be, the daggers are going to come. Of course. You just got to like laugh at that shit because that stuff always comes from. I used to say, like, there's a great quote that talks about that criticism generally always comes from the spectators of life, not the participants.
Right.
I think that's generally true.
I would have to agree with that too. And in a lot of what we talk about, like projection, anybody that's out there worried about what everybody else is doing or pointing fingers and things like that is typically something that stems from kind of within and
100%.
And the fact of it is too is it's being passed down, and that's also scary too. I mean, all the things that we're handing our youth is, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, certainly. I think so too. I think there's a lot of unresolved bullshit that children take into adulthood, and I think most of us can manage it, but there are times where you can't, and it comes off heavy to children. I think that's happened a lot. Yeah. I think a lot of that came out during the COVID thing. Yeah, the stress of COVID.
When I was younger, when you were younger, like I didn't know, what was a lot of what was going on with my parents and like their friends and all the like interpersonal workings.
That was grown up stuff.
Correct. I wasn't in their conversations. In fact, if I came in,
we didn't belong there.
Yeah, I mean, if I came in to an adult conversation, it probably stopped and I was told to get the fuck out of the room, right? But now it's just full blown. Everybody knows everybody, like all the business or all the shit talking or all the, and then it's just everybody's wholly involved in the circle.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And they're like a bunch of little jag-off adults running around with the chip on the shoulder. The other thing I found is that you can't have a conversation with another parent now about their kid. You can't do it. It's fucking impossible. So,
I'm not letting you escape from that. We're going to dive into that a little bit.
I choose to, having kids now that are high school age and whatnot. It's easier to, I kind of pull back, and I just go, "Hi, how you doing?"
But see, that's sad to me that we have to be that way because the society's the way it is.
Yeah,
now.
There's not a sense of like school age family like the way it was when like I was younger, and there's
the pre-social media era.
Yeah.
The internet was around, but that wasn't destroying it. It's social media, I think, is the thing.
But so
like I would say 2008 and before.
I agree, but when did parents stop parenting?
Yeah, I think it's been a slow burn.
Yeah. And then for another parent to be able to like talk to another parent, and like if I did something wrong and my friend's mom called my mom, by the time I got home, like I already knew I was getting my ass beat when I walked in the door. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it was. Now it's like my Bobby wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's a trend over a couple of decades that I've watched that happen. But now it's more exacerbated than ever, because I think that parents are worried just as much about the reality of their appearance of their family and their kids, but they're also worried about this virtual reality and how they're seeing the world, and them and their kids being viewed on virtual. So there's everybody's got this defense going on, like it's an unnecessary.
Like the teachers can't yell at the kids, and the parents can't yell at the kids.
Everybody's entitled. Everybody's entitled.
Yeah, and we can't hurt Bobby's feelings.
Yeah, the feeling thing is it's okay. A lot to unpack here. Okay, so wait a second. So you just said that, like children business and adult business used to have somewhat clear delineation, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that was healthy, I think, in terms of how children were raised and the structure of things. But the internet gave us this big fucking sandbox, and we're all in there swimming, and age and position in life all got neutralized. Now, to some degree, you can make a point, I think, Nikki, that's a good thing, because it takes away elitism and all this bullshit. But I don't think it's healthy that a 6-year-old is playing in the same fucking sandbox that a 37-year-old is.
Right.
And that's essentially what social media is. It's one big sandbox.
The 6-year-old's TikToking with the 50-year-olds or
and
whatever.
And that's where it's like, I mean, when Facebook first started, I would get these friend requests from people, and I was like, okay, sure. Then I said, wait a second. I started looking through it, and once in a while you'd find friend requests, if you pay attention, like, how old is this person?
Right.
And I had to cognitively be aware of that. But see, I think there should be mechanisms in place which the sandbox shouldn't be that big. It should be divided.
Yeah, for sure.
Minors and adults. That should have happened from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
No. Because no one said to their 6-year-old, you're not getting TikTok.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, yeah. It's an adult thing, or you're not, or maybe it's, until you're 13, you're not getting that, or whatever.
Right.
No, and I was guilty. My kids got cell phones when they went well before they ever needed them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just we don't. Some of the structure of life has been torn away. I mean, when you think about pornography, like a kid, it's no longer a thing that can be managed by adults to keep away from children. Now they're in the new reality is you can't stop it.
Well, I will make one positive comment to that.
Okay.
I've had to have some very blunt conversations with my kids, maybe a little sooner than I wanted to. However, I think they were warranted based off of some of the things they may have already known.
Sure.
But I wanted to make sure that they had the facts. So the conversations were hilarious. I mean, they were great. They were great because my delivery was so on point, as you could imagine, because I'm a clown. And I wanted to make sure that things were already going to be uncomfortable as it was, but no one, sorry, Mom, but no one, my mom's amazing, but no one gave me certain tools. We weren't allowed.
Yeah.
Not allowed. We weren't having the conversations.
No, hell no.
My dad's idea of sex ed was don't give anyone a blowjob. So, you know what I mean? Like, because somebody got caught doing it somewhere in the school and he knew about everything before I did. Things like that.
Right.
And it was, that was as like that was as caring, you know, as deep as my dad would get. But like all the things that they find out anyway from it. So, you know, having the conversations, but that's another thing is it's like nothing's too young now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's scary. To me, it's scary.
So, you know, the talks about the alcohol consumption and how alcohol is going to hit you when, you know, we were chugging out of fifths and when your friend's passed out on the floor and poisoning is probably already set in, he's not sleeping, and, you know, what the Plan B pill is, and we didn't have access to that, and you know, all these things that some of these people are going to have to figure out by themselves or when it's too late, right? And some of the things that these kids think are so embarrassed to talk about, like their mental health or, you know, eating disorders or cutting or all the things that are very real that if you see somebody, you know, in the drug use and things, I've had those very real conversations with the kids.
Certainly.
And so they may have been, excuse me, prompted by their early access to some of the really real topics that they see. And so not that was a good thing, but it was, you know, an eye-opening experience to give in some really real info.
Well, I think what you're saying is, if I'm hearing you correctly, is it opened up the opportunity to have conversations earlier on in life, whereas if they weren't you kill a kid.
Right.
Things could actually harm the child deeply if they have a misunderstanding of what actually is going on.
Right. And I honestly do believe, and I'm not just like patting myself on the back, my kids are extremely well-rounded children. I'm so proud of them. And they're, I mean, not that they're not going to make mistakes
of course.
that they may have not already, but I can at least like say that I've given them as much information as I can, and all of the dumb shit that I have done that I just have recently done that I still do, I give them the delivery of information about my own life too. Because I'll make mistakes for the rest of my own life.
Sure.
And so, you know, I have a lot of good talks with my son too about relationships and, you know, things like that, and how to value people and how to be valued and stuff.
And parenting is just so important, more important even now than it's ever been, but there's so little of it now, which is nuts. It's kind of gone. It's needed now more than ever, I believe, because of so many factors. But there's so little of it now compared to before times.
I would say, like, in closing about that, it's not really about the amount of over-parenting. It's really about the quality of the parenting that needs to happen with that. So
let me ask you this question. So why do you think the quality suffers now? What happened there?
I don't know. I mean, that's hard because I would never want to suggest that I know what everybody's
doing. We're just having a conversation.
You know, and like, it's hard because you hear people say, like, I'm doing the best I can. You know, when you sit back sometimes and you know that there's some people out there that really aren't doing the best that they can, you know, and there was times where I thought I was doing the best I can, and I know damn well I wasn't giving it the best that I could. And so I think that people feel that if they show up for all of, you know, little Bobby's games and he sees them there, that's parenting. And that's what I mean by quality.
Okay.
Because that's also very good, because some parents have nobody that shows up. However,
that's not the whole equation, though.
Yeah. If you just show up and then you go home and go to bed, or you go do what you got to do, and that's really it. Is you're just showing face. Then to me, that's not quality, right? So
you see a lot of that in sports, like children's sports.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the communication, I always try to spend a lot of one-on-one time with my kids. So whether that's going to dinner, it's weird. I've seen a really big transition more with my son than my daughter. I mean, she's still 12, but where my son now puts the phone down, and he's started to get on me about, let's put the phone down, coming from a 16-and-a-half-year-old. Mm-hmm. So, that's pretty cool. And when he has the phone and, he's on his Snapchat, or I'm on social media, we'll take some pictures together, and It's something that we could kind of, it is not that makes it better, but it makes it a little bit better, It
does make it a little bit better.
And he lets me into his world a little bit, which is nice. So, too, it's about, like, I try to communicate with whoever's in his life. I try to be communicative with their family, and then, so we could kind of grow a little bit in communication together and get to know each other. I think that's all.
It's so weird. Like, if you had told me that, like, case in point, if somebody had told my parents back in, let's say, 85, right? Long time ago. Or 82 when I was a junior in high school, or let's say 80 when I was, ninth grade. So they would tell my parents that your son is going to now have a device, which is going to allow him to have this own world, which he could actually easily hide from you. You'll never figure it out. He'll have this entire world going on. My parents would say, there ain't no fucking way we're letting this kid do this. It's unfathomable, right?
Right.
But now it's a built-in mechanism to society where parents sometimes just have to accept that's the way it is.
Right. Especially in homes where you have parents in two different households.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
That's a big deal 100%. For a lot of kids who are under 13, and they're like, well, I really didn't want to get my kid this, but I want to be able to FaceTime and things like that. So I think that's a hard thing for some parents. That happened, with my kids.
So to get one benefit, we have to put up with the potential negativities of it, right?
Another positive, though, with my son is he's a driver now. So
how's that going?
It's okay. It's okay. My Audi.
She says that she's bracing herself.
As I'm scratching the table because my Audi needs new rotors.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah. There's a really great app called Life 360. I can track his location. I could track the speed he's driving in my vehicle.
Right on.
His father and I can go in on it together. And he knows if he ever disappears from the location, he will lose a whole lot. There's no reason to disappear from the location. You disappear from the location, you're going to disappear from a whole lot more than that. So
okay,
right?
Yeah.
So
good.
There's a lot of things we couldn't have gotten away with.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's different.
Yeah. I still think it's shit. I still think it's more shit than it's good, but I'm trying to play a little bit of the devil's advocate here.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that social media has put all of us in competition with each other?
100%.
Forget the commerce thing, just on a social currency basis.
Yeah. How many likes do I have?
Uh-huh. Everybody, every human is in competition with the other, whether they recognize it or not.
Yeah.
If they're going to partake in the sandbox.
Yeah.
They're in competition.
Yeah.
I think that's
for
fucked.
Sure.
I think that's the worst of. I think that's the worst of capitalism. And I'm a capitalist. I think that's the worst traits of capitalism, which has infiltrated our daily lives and how we have some kind of fictional currency out there of worth.
Yeah.
Socially. It's not healthy.
And you literally can be in the most beautiful mindset ever, right? And you can genuinely have a great heart, love to help people. It's still it's still in there. It's still in there.
Uh-huh.
I follow a lot of wonderful people on social media. Mm-hmm. I follow people that make me feel good. I like their quotes. I like their body work. I like their body language. I think they're beautiful people. But yeah, ultimately, I'm following you.
Bingo.
Because I would like to be like you. I would like to have your mindset.
And we didn't live like that outside of glossy magazine ads or things we see on the tube or in the film. But those were smaller moments of our lives.
Right.
Day in, day out, we didn't really do that comparison all the time.
I mean, people just with social media, it is literally, if you went through your friend list and you genuinely went through and took away anybody that didn't make you feel good, I'd have I try to be more mindful of it now, but you wouldn't have a lot of people on there, do you think?
No, and that's that whole pruning thing. Like my Facebook friend thing is like always floating around 5,000, which is insane. But it has to do with the guitar business.
Yeah, you have a lot going on. Realtors.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure if I sat for a weekend and pruned all that, not to be mean spirited, but just like I haven't talked to this guy in 8 years.
Oh yeah, I have dead people on mine. I got 100 dead people on mine.
That's fucking great. It's horrifying at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just too fucking late. They're in my phone book too.
I know. I know, and that's what I'm saying though. It's like it's those are things like, don't you think if they really cared about us, the social media companies really cared about the people, they would help you prune. Like every month they'd say, hey, if you're interested, here's a list of like 100 people in your friend list of 5,000 that you have not contacted in 8 years.
They do the opposite. They do the opposite. Did you see the people you may know?
Of course they do.
They do the opposite. Here's a list of people you may know. And you go through that list and you're like,
I defriended this person intentionally 6 months ago.
Don't you know I've already unfriended this person?
Of course they know.
This one needs blocked.
Of course they know. This one needs mental health.
Yeah. Boy.
No, I mean, I think intentionally it's so insidious when you step back and look at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the word is insidious.
I just don't know when where's the bottom, because I think we're almost there.
That's my next question.
I think we're almost there.
Okay, so
are
we climbing out? Have we reached the bottom and climbing out? Because I don't think we're at the bottom yet. I don't. I wish we were.
I don't think we are either, honestly. And that's sad, because how long? Or can we get there like sooner? Can we get there now?
People argue, let me throw this at you. People argue that a lot of this bullshit started because a mother helped sell a sex tape of a daughter. And you can look at the merits of it all because, it was going to be released anyways. They decided to monetize it, whatever. But that's somehow, that act somehow normalized a lot of lewdness and exacerbated the fact that we all have a value, and she saw immense value by exploiting her daughter. I mean, it's a horrible thing to say, but I'm looking at it factually as to what exactly happened. People kind of point to that moment, and then somehow that whole theme got grabbed by social media, primarily Facebook and Instagram, early on. Like we're talking 2010, 11.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of dysfunction and in society was kind of rooted at that moment. Did you buy into any of that bullshit?
I can't say that I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think it was a Kardashian. The Kardashian's mother sold the sex tape of, I guess, Kim and her boyfriend at the time. I guess it was coming out anyways, but she decided, well, we're going to make money off it. And then she sold the tape. Yeah, so people go back to that moment, because before that, the argument's made it's unfathomable that a mother would want a daughter's sex tape out there. And if it is out there, you'd want to do everything possible to minimize the quote-unquote moral damage, That was the before times.
Okay.
But when that happened, people point to that as once that was off the table, then anything fucking goes. And that's kind of where we are 10 years, 12 years in now. It's an argument. I'm not saying it's my argument, but there's an argument that's been made multiple times. It kind of goes on the social media front in terms of like where we are today. It kind of goes back to that moment.
What's too much?
Yeah.
What's too much?
Yeah. I don't know. It's not my argument. I'm just repeating it. I don't know. I mean, I understand the logic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get it. That's a tough one.
Try to put yourself in that shoe. I mean, if it happened to your kid, what would you do? How would you view a solution?
I mean, I'd want to burn the world down, for sure.
I would think most people's reaction.
Yeah.
But that mother didn't do that, see? Not just saying that she may wanted to, but she chose not to.
Yeah,
she monetized it, which to me, completely legal. Ethics is a very word I don't think it even can apply to that circumstance, whether ethics value, but a moral, everybody's morals is subjective, right? But I think that she monetized it, which then put a monetary dollar amount on salacious behavior.
Right.
In a family.
Right.
And that just set the world on fire, and here we are.
Right.
I don't know if that's real. That's how it's been articulated to me. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack there, but I mean...
I feel like people shouldn't have to watch how they act. Like, she shouldn't have had to worry about who she was having sex with or possibly getting filmed because someone chose to overstep their boundaries, right? In the same sense, people should be able to put what they want to on social media without feeling like they're worried about what the content coming back or the opinions coming back at them are going to be. If you like a picture of yourself, or you like what you're putting out there, you like the message it's sending, or you like it, if you like it, then you should put it out there. And the people that are choosing to follow you, if they like it, they should follow it. And if they don't like it, and this is a huge problem, don't fucking follow it. Don't follow it. I'm going to break everything on this table.
Well, there's no reason. There's no. Yeah, I don't care. But there's no reason to even engage with it. If you don't like it, just swipe. Keep swiping.
Don't do it. Don't get mad about it.
That's a problem.
Don't internalize it. Don't have it ruin your energy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if her boobs are out, if her shorts are too short, if she's if she's with this person. It doesn't matter in the scheme of your life.
The thing is, though, they do like it. But
they love it.
But they think they want to take the high road. My morals are offended. No. You fucking like it because you're
going to go past my picture and you don't like me, just tap it because you're there anyway.
No, but I get it. It's an easy read too. If they think they're fooling somebody, they're not fooling anybody.
It's so wild.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. So I don't know that whole story of the Kardashians and all, but I do know that it is.
They hate them. People hate them, but they want to see it.
That's because they're envious. There's an envy thing, and that's humans are just.
And that's just how we all are. I mean, that's so upscale, but that's just how we all are.
Like case in point, I realized a long time ago that I never fit into the hip hop lifestyle. It was never my thing.
No.
I don't. I grew up in rock and roll. And if it was music that had to delineate it, I was just never. It wasn't my thing. But I'm not the one that I didn't care enough about it to sit and try to criticize it. I do think sagging jeans all the way below your ass crack are pretty funny. But outside of making fun of that, I don't think it's right or wrong. It's just not my bag.
Right.
I just do other things.
Right.
So it can coexist with my world. Right.
Right.
It's not a negative or positive. I'm indifferent to it. Why can't, me included, why can't we do more of that with other things in our lives?
Anything.
Right?
With literally anything.
It's crazy.
Because people just need to
have
fight
an opinion.
about
They need to have
something.
an opinion when they aren't even qualified to give a fucking opinion. I know I'm not qualified to give opinion on most things.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Because they're bored. They're bored.
Are we?
They could do something better with their energy, with their time.
Or are we stupid? Or are we addicted to the mechanism? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's some wiring that is, like you said, like an addiction to negativity.
Okay.
So I feel that there has to be something else to talk about as a diversion to the real self.
Okay. That's deep.
Don't process the self. Instead, they want to process what's going on with everybody else. And it could be anything, but it really just deviates from self-processing, self-realization in general with anybody.
Okay.
Nobody wants to do the work internally.
Okay, so let's go back and talk a little bit about what we talked about. Not that I expect you to remember the whole conversation, but when we last met, I started COVID. It was a couple months in. I think 3 months in, maybe 2 months in. And I had decided I was going to change some things in my life. One of them was my weight. So I started losing weight, and I was sharing with you that like people were immediately thought I was sick.
Yeah.
And now I'm laughing now because that was after like 20 pounds.
Right.
They must think I'm like a fucking
dead.
emaciated or dead. I mean, but I'm still here. But no matter what I would say, some would not believe that I did it intentionally.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
people are watching.
I don't understand though why it's like.
I mean, I saw your picture.
It's insane.
And literally underneath it, someone said, "I hope you feel better."
I get it, man. I mean,
and that's all it takes. That's literally all that it takes. I hope you feel better. That's all it takes.
When I have to tell people, look, it's intentional. Thank you so much. I appreciate the concern, and I mean, thank you, but they still didn't get it.
And then here's what that does, which is very sad. It has you doing something. You're doing something for yourself and your health.
For sure. That was scary times.
And you're having to now explain.
Yeah. All the time.
And this is what I'm trying to get away from. If someone comes up and asks me a question about anything, I will gladly explain to you. And I'm good with it. But please don't assume that you know anything. Please don't. Because I'm a pretty forward person. If I'm choosing to not be forward, I'm trying to process it myself and probably not doing a really good job with it.
Sure.
But same thing with you, you had to actually go into almost defense mode.
Oh, most definitely.
Which ruins the whole mental health aspect of what you're trying to do.
Oh, I yes. And this is tough to admit, but I can tell you,
like, the fuck am I doing this for?
I said, wait, do I really look sick? I remember asking my wife, I'm like, do I look sick to you? And she's like, no, I will tell you when you do. But it was like, okay, but why are people saying I look sick? But logic, if I step back and looked at it, the whole weight loss thing in this country is just hard to deal with because people struggle with it. Right. And it's like if someone has success at doing anything for that matter, there must be an excuse or there must be something wrong. It's just too hard. And there must be either there's an angle, you're cheating, you found a cheat code. Because how many people would ask me, oh, please tell me what you're doing. That I said, well, look, I don't want to tell you what I'm doing because I'm not qualified to tell you how to lose weight, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
and then if it doesn't work for them, or if they would get sick on my diet, they come back at me.
Yeah, right.
There's no positive for me to share anything about what I do and anything, because
and I get that
it's never
too.
going to land.
Yeah.
I know you do. It's never going to land right.
Right.
You want it to.
Right.
When I started putting disclaimers on, look, make sure that, your actions are the result of your own conclusions or whatever, because you have to say something like that because people don't get it.
Body shaming is still body shaming. However,
in every direction.
When somebody who's extremely overweight loses 300 pounds, it's fucking great. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. But when somebody that maybe loses, 20, 40, whatever, then there's something fucking wrong with them.
Correct.
Still body shaming.
Go figure
or
it
when
out.
a small person puts on muscle. Right? It's the same thing. It's not a whole it's not black and it's not like that. So
and the funny thing is, after a while, it became very funny. But in the beginning, it was like it was a little off-putting because I couldn't believe, like, wow, man, I'm just trying to fix some bad habits I got,
right?
And you're noticing that listen, it does not suck to wear a size jeans that I wore in 9th grade, as opposed to like 5 or 6 sizes bigger. Right, that does not suck.
And I will say, like, you look younger.
I think generally that's it. Not just for me, but I'm saying for most people generally.
Well,
when you take care of yourself, it will show outwardly.
Absolutely.
But it's not like I'm out there like somehow in a weird way flaunting that. It's just, you're going to see me. I'm just thinner, but that's okay. Be happy.
It doesn't matter if you did say like, I
100%.
look great.
100%. I get it.
I feel the best I've felt in years. Mm-hmm. And a huge part of that was like my mental health.
Yeah. Right.
But I feel like I look good. I like taking pictures in my fucking mirror, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Well, I had
like
portraits done here that for the promotion of the show, my realtor practice, that I probably, at that heavier weight, might not have been inclined to do because I really didn't like it myself at that point, right? But I had no problem doing it because I look better in clothes. Yeah. I look better to advertise myself.
Right.
I can't apologize for that. If y'all don't dig it, I can't help you with that.
Yeah, like, yes, bye.
I can't help you with it. But but that's it is funny, though, the judgment that we have in every regard. It's like people have a hard time often being happy for others when they see they're getting things that they want. In any capacity of their life. Yeah. And social media, I think it's always been the way it is, but I think social media now has put that out in the forefront. Like, take any example of somebody, like if a star would like lose a lot of weight, and you would see you see hundreds and hundreds of comments. But if you would peruse through there, some people, oh, they look fantastic, and some people say, oh, it must be the cocaine, right? There's always gotta be a reason.
Right. Or I wish I had a personal chef to cook.
Yeah, really? What a way to live. If that's really your answer to shit, is really to create an excuse.
I would honestly. I know money helps.
Would you ever want to be? Would you really want to be famous? I wouldn't want to be famous. No. And what comes with it? You have a little taste of it because of your family. But would you really want that? Would you really want to put a post up and have like 8,000 comments on there? No. Because you wouldn't go through them, but you would be tempted to. No. Right?
I'm gonna plead the fifth, and I'm gonna go no. I'm not gonna speak to, but because of family, I'm just gonna go no.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what I'm getting at. So it's like I don't know that
seen it. No.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal. Yeah. And you can't tell me that doesn't weigh on the minds
Everyone's
of some of these
human.
celebrities.
Yeah,
exactly
everybody's
right.
Human,
athletes, the whole thing. It's like, and that's the thing where the social media, everybody gets a voice, but I'm not really sure. And this is going to sound terrible, but this is honestly how I feel inside.
Get it?
Everybody gets a voice. I'm not sure some deserve a voice.
I agree.
you're not a good enough human. You hurt other people on a daily basis, so you don't deserve this mechanism to keep fucking hurting people. Yeah. You don't deserve it.
Yeah. That's something that I've struggled with in the last couple of years was shit talking is shit talking, right? We've all shit talked. When you go out of your way to damage another human, to actually take them and hope that they crumble, I mean, my arm hair is standing up. It is literally, I think, one of the worst things that you could do to somebody, to like mentally hope that they crumble, especially nowadays, is the worst thing that you could, it's literally the worst thing to do. I would rather you punch me in my face. I mean, try it, but yeah. Then mentally try to drain somebody. And I really hope that my kids never, I hope that they have enough self-respect for themselves that they never have to decide whether they're worth that or not. But there's definitely been times in my life where I was not able to step out of letting somebody consistently drain me. And dude, the recovery from it is mortifying. It's brutal. It's mortifying. And honestly, like my family and my friends are they're the best of the best. Because it's,
well, psychological damage is the worst.
It's horrible.
Oh, it's horrible. Way worse than physical damage.
And you will literally have that for the rest of your life. There are, when someone says a trigger, there are things that will always like trigger you. You know what I mean? But I never realized, and I think I was the person when I was younger, the word depression came up and you're like, whatever.
Of course.
Yeah. And sometimes. Not me. Yeah. Well, you got over it. You just dealt with it and got over it. But I didn't think that I would experience, I thought I would go through all that shit. Like, I had kids young.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, got divorced. Like, all that stuff would be like right here in this part of my college and getting in, trying to figure my compartmentalized. I didn't think I'd be trying to figure myself out still.
Right.
Like, but I think people just are always, I think you should always be reinventing yourself. And I will never not be trying to make myself happy. And people can say it's selfish as fuck, but like, I definitely I will come first for sure. And then I will be the best that I can for my kids.
Well, certainly.
But that's not what it is. And I think that is a huge part of why people aren't happy, because people just stay in their comfort, in their madness. And if you if people think that everyone doesn't see that they're just crumbling on top of themselves, it's easy to catch up on. If you watch someone long enough, you can only pull the covers over somebody's face for so long, including your own family, friends, children, whatever. And so, you have to show yourself some value, and you'll be you'll show others value in turn. So like, that's that whole thing about how we treat others. If you talk to yourself like shit and you feel like shit, you're going to treat others like shit.
100%.
And that's,
well, I think you nailed it. I think we're projecting now. onto other humans all the fucking time, and that projection is usually all of our own insecurities, all of our own jealousy,
fear.
It's
fear,
without a doubt.
It's literally your fear. Like, you're afraid that if you take a step to do something to make yourself happy, it's not going to make you happy, or you're afraid to take a chance, or you're afraid that someone's going to judge you for it, or if you take a stance to do something to make yourself happy, and whoever's in your life steps out, let him step out. Let him step out. And the people that will see you do that, if they want to be there, they'll be there. 100%. And they're, in the long run, it'll pan out. People will, that's exactly what I want my kids to see, is that, I will follow what makes me happy. And, it might not always be the best route, but I'll be damned if I'm going to sit in my misery, for sure.
Right.
And they're always going to see me persevere and overcome and be strong, responsible.
I think that is what's missing a lot right now for all of our youth, and maybe to some degree for the kids that aren't getting it at home. Maybe there are some outlets on social media where they can dial in and get nuggets of this stuff. Maybe that can be helpful.
I follow a ton of therapists, and there's some really cool ones. There's some child psychologists, and I follow a lot of adult psychologists, and they're not just tacky. They're really in tune to what's going on now. And there's some really badass people. Of course, I follow people like Jocko and Goggins and complete psychopaths.
Yeah,
because
but you need a little of that too,
right?
Yeah,
it has to be a hardcore mix. I'm not 100%, out there 100%. Goggins is oh, my legs broke, but I just did 30 miles. He's a fucking psycho.
I just listened to it's funny, I just listened to his second Rogan appearance from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Last night again. Just once in a while, when I'm out running or walking, whatever I choose to do, it's it's good. It's good but that's the kind of stuff I think it's great. Some kids that are inclined to, they got to pull nuggets like that. Yeah. That's how
the book is great.
The book is excellent, and I would say read the book, but then do the audio, because David actually gives narration along with the narrator.
Okay,
it's like a little mini podcast throughout the book. It's crazy,
right?
Crazy good.
I mean, he's a hoot to listen to.
And that's a story. And even if someone, and I guess the message I would tell people about Goggins is, you got to look beyond the insanity of what he actually did. The message is not ultimately to do all this crazy health.
No.
It's the fact that it can be done.
Yes.
And how he got there relying on nobody else but himself and his mind.
Right.
That, I think, is the takeaway.
Right, absolutely.
'Cause he came from a bad way and kept making bad decisions over and over again.
Right.
And he just kept picking it up and going. And eventually he figured it out.
Yeah.
And some kids don't have parents out there that can give them that message.
Yeah, for sure.
And if they can find it other places, I think so there is some intrinsic value in social media in that regard, I think. But there's a lot of bullshit, though.
Right. And there's a lot of people that need to hear it the way he delivers it.
100%. The rawness of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting motherfucked.
You have to. Yeah. I mean, and again, but that's the great thing about it is everybody is different. So everybody is a collective. Certain people are going to, Jocko will have a different kind of delivery.
Right.
Rogan has one kind of delivery. Goggins has one kind of delivery. Cameron Haynes has another kind of delivery. Yeah. They all have their own thing, and it's good because there's an audience for it.
Right, for sure.
Goggins isn't going to appeal to everybody, but there are people that need Goggins.
Right.
Right. I mean,
and there's a good, you could do a little mix, but I definitely follow as many different kinds of, psychoanalysts and things. Cool.
Yeah,
there's
why not?
A lot of cool people on social media.
Think about it. Before the web, this advice you'd have to pay for it.
Right.
Everything in the world is available if you really just go out and just look for it.
You got to use good content, honestly. Use it for the right reasons, good content.
And see, maybe that's a skill they're not teaching in school that maybe they should. Remember when I'm a little older than you, so a little. Windows was so mainstreamed in the 90s that schools had to start incorporating teaching Windows because that was how the world was operating.
Right.
Well, maybe social media is so ingrained right now that maybe academically they should be, and how to discern good content, positive content from garbage. That should be a class.
I agree. And I don't think psychology, I don't think we should be talking about Freud. We're good. We get it. Okay. I think we should be talking about actual today psychology, mental health in class. Those
legendary psychiatrists don't have any meaning if there isn't any context to real world circumstances. So teach Freud's words through actual real life context. Right. And that's not what's happening. And that hasn't been happening in a long time. Maybe that's an opportunity.
Right.
You know, I mean,
like history should not still be the same history that we learned, right? So
when there's no context, the lessons from history
need to keep progressing.
There's a book I read many years ago. Jim Rohn recommended it in the 90s and the 80s. It's called Lessons of History by Durant, and it's a small book, but there was an attempt by that author to take these momentous moments in history and find the ultimate lesson to them and just spell it out very clearly. This happened because this ultimately happened because these two things happened, and this decision caused this. That can, as a nugget, a kid can take and say, "Wow, in history, it's happening over again." I can see that is something somebody can learn from, not just to memorize a theorem.
Right.
Right. That's bullshit. And we're still doing that.
No, I know. And then it's like a hamster wheel.
So you got through the. I'm dying to ask you about this because you were pulling your hair out when you were here last time. It was in the middle of the pandemic, and you were doing the online schooling with your children.
Oh, my kids were stellar students.
Everybody
made the honor roll. Everybody made the honor roll.
Really?
I think everybody had to.
Mom must have made the honor roll too.
I don't think they had a damn choice.
Yeah. I mean, but that's all normalized now, though, right? I mean,
everything's good.
Everything's back to normal.
There's no masks in school. We actually had to start school. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe they had to wear the mask on the bus for. I don't think my kids did, though. I don't know. I think the bus drivers were like, "Screw this shit." You know, my kids caught like a little cold the first week, but I think that was every year till the end of time. Like it's like once everybody's back in school. But yeah, my son's playing football this year. Sports are back in session, and he'll go back into basketball and then track. My daughter's swimming, and,
does it feel like we're back? Let me ask you this. Okay, does it feel like we're back when you're out in everyday life? To forget the school thing, so you established that it feels like school is back to quote unquote normal. What about the rest of your life when you're out and about? Do you feel like it's 2018 again, or does it feel like something different now?
It's different. Restaurants are not the same still. Bars, restaurants. I think it depends on where you go. Some places didn't recover. I eat out a lot. And I do think some areas have not recovered. I feel like a lot of small business didn't recover, which sucks. But the small business that did is still killing it. So the small business that did well, like gave good service, was consistent, was good to their employees, they stuck it out, honestly. Like places, like some local places like Downey House, still killing it.
Yep.
I mean, I ordered from there a lot, just as a local joint, you know, and consistently good all through the pandemic. You know, those guys there are always great to me when I'm there, and to everybody else. Their regulars stood by them, and they persevered, and I'm glad for them. And there's some places that just, I don't think fully are doing what they were doing. You know, hopefully like football helps some of the local bars and stuff like that come back to life a little bit. I mean, would you agree? Do you eat out a lot?
I think not that much anymore, but I will say that everything feels different to me. And maybe I'm kind of romanticizing the whole thing, but this world, whether I'm going into a convenience mart to pay my gas, my
feels empty, right?
Everything is, yeah. And if it isn't empty, it's just people are looking around a little bit. We're still, because you got a collection of people. Let's say there's like 30 people in a convenience mart at one time coming and going. Out of those 30 people, there's probably 5 that are either still have masks on or they're worried about the thing.
Yeah.
They're looking at each other.
They're still 6 feet difference.
They're still, and that's a weird thing to see people in masks now. And I kind of feel bad for them because they're really being stereotyped. Think about it.
I stopped doing the double take thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of like, but my mind goes to it when I see people with masks on. I'm thinking, well, maybe they have like a health condition or something. I try to look at the positive, like maybe they're just doing it. Obviously, I'm hoping for other people, but there are probably some that are just either really lost or maybe irrationally freaked still.
Yeah,
So that's the part about society, Nikki, that I think is just like we're not really back yet, in my opinion.
We're not, but how funny is it that all of a sudden now, we just don't talk about it anymore. Like it did its damage, and now So is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I think it's fine.
It's weird.
It's just
definitely weird.
I mean,
because 1 million people died.
What was the fucking point? Like, just to ruin everything and then just have everyone try to figure out how we get anything back ever. We can't get cars. People can't get houses. I can't get my kid toaster strudels. Like, I mean, what?
There's no chips.
Yeah.
It makes me really wonder if any of the mitigation things we did, the masks and the social distancing, if any of that really mattered in the end. And if it didn't really matter, and the same amount of people were going to die because it's here.
Right.
Did we go about it the wrong way? I'm wondering. And did maybe our mitigation somehow have the reverse effect and may have caused
kill our immune systems?
Kill more people.
Keeping them in? I don't know.
I mean, I'm hoping that before we get another one, I hope it's a long time from now because we need time to really research how we handled it and not make the same mistakes again. Well, and that's going to take some time.
We won't be able to ask your boy Fauci.
Yeah, I know. See you later, buddy. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. I'm sorry. It's like it's really hard right now. I'm talked about this too. So last time we were here, we were talking about indifference, and both of us were agreeing that when you try to be a moderate person and look at all sides and make a decision and just go on with your life, that indifference is hard. You're really being pushed to be. Both sides want you so bad.
Yeah.
The left wants you, and the right wants you so bad. They don't want you waddling in the middle and being indifferent about any fucking thing.
Yeah. And I just am, though.
I am too, but man, it's become even more difficult in 2022 than it was in 2020. It's hard. I find it difficult.
Yeah,
I find it difficult.
It's definitely difficult. I just don't talk about it.
Yeah,
I like. If someone it's like talking about religion. I don't do it.
Well, didn't we learn that as kids before the web? It was religion. Don't talk about religion, politics, and something else. Whatever it was, sex. I don't know whatever it was, but it was something. But
I was in a Catholic school, so I was like, I had it pounded down my throat.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm just like.
But it's it's like, and I get a lot of it because of this show, and I do a show with Rocco Koza once a week. We do something called. Every 2 weeks we do a series within the podcast.
I see it.
How we see it. Where we're really just reflecting on what happened. Rocco's a little more opinionated than I am, but I'm just kind of reflecting on, okay, this happened. How do you feel about that? And I just put it out there. Let him go. But so I'm aware of what's going on, but I just can't join the fucking team.
Yeah.
I hate them all. I hate to say about hate, but I just don't like any of them.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are being genuine to us. None of them. And that's the problem, I think, with the pandemic. You had some states doing some things and some states doing things other ways, and the whole country's just fighting. It's
I don't
crazy.
know how conspiracy theorists' heads don't blow up. I mean, the consumption of time and the obsession to I don't know.
Does it feel real to you like we went through that yet? You think about this. In 2000, you and I talked about you coming on here in January of 20. And you were going to come on, I think, in March, right around the time that the pandemic actually happened. So when we first saw the idea of sitting down, the world was completely different.
Yeah.
There wasn't a pandemic. We were just cruising through, the 2010s and headed toward the 2020 and got to 2020, no big deal. And all of a sudden, boom, March 2020. Wow. The whole world got tipped over. And it's like, is it like when you look back on that, does it feel real?
I'm not okay with probably 90% of what happened. But the 10% of like where I'm at right now and what I went through in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I got to be grateful for it.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people not
dead serious. Whether it's how I feel, the people in my life, I wouldn't be where I am now had that not happened. So if you could take some positivity to, some sort of feeling some grateful aspect from it, everybody had to take something that they learned from it.
100%.
Or, it's just something. There's going to be some pearl, something from it. Everybody, even the shittiest person. I
think you're right. For me, when I say this, I have to watch how I say it because I don't want to make light of, I don't make light of any of the deaths or anything like that. But I'm not happy it happened. But I did make the fucking most of the time. Like if society had to change for these 1.5 years, 2 years, I fixed a lot. I mean, whether it was getting rid of alcohol, losing weight, getting healthy, I did that. And maybe without the pandemic, I might not have been on a path to do that, No. So, right. Yeah. I mean, I personally, but it was work.
Oh, yeah.
It still would have been work without a pandemic.
Right.
But it gave me a reason to actually focus on it.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Focus. Yeah, absolutely.
Because
there was nothing else to do. There was nowhere to go.
Especially early on, right? Yeah. I think when you were on this show last, we were all still on lockdown. Yeah. We couldn't do shit.
No. I mean, I pulled into Coriopolis. There was tumbleweeds in the...
Hey, you don't know how dicey it was restarting shows because the only way I got away with that wasn't even the fact of the social distancing 2 rooms. The only way I got away with that was that we're a non-commercial show. So it was not a revenue generating show.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't, it was a hobby. Right. So are you going to tell me I can't do a hobby?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Now, if I was generating money, then an argument can be made, well, it's a business.
Right.
So I think that's kind of how I was able to, whether they paid attention or not, the powers that be. But I think that's how we got away with it. But I was losing my mind because I shut down for 6 weeks and postponed 6 weeks of shows. And finally I said, what am I doing? I go, this is, we have to start talking to each other.
Right. Lose your mind.
Yeah. But I really
Your wife probably wanted to get the fuck out of the house.
Get out! Yeah. I don't care what you do. Just go do something.
Right. Go talk to yourself.
I'm just not used to I'm just not used to being that still. But my point is, we today should be not over. How we ever get over it? But yeah, we should be able to tell our kids, hey, you need to get over it. Move on with your life, especially our young.
Yeah.
But are we just supposed to ignore that this thing ever fucking happened? Like, how many businesses were put out of business?
Yeah.
How many fortunes or family nest eggs were lost just by timing? Gentleman or wife opens up a business, puts her life savings into it, and the pandemic wipes them the fuck out.
I know. I know it sucks, and this might sound like real shitty, but I personally can't. I don't want to keep looking behind me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
I'm just going to focus forward and personally hopefully by doing that, it'll better acclimate me with anything that is going to come at me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if everyone keeps doing that, then if something, God forbid, does happen, then it's going to punch them in the face. And at that point, there's going to be people that aren't going to get up. That maybe did this time.
100%. Yeah, so. And I agree with that too. I really hope that we don't have another one soon, because the way we handled this one was just like,
No, and like we both said, like we don't think we've hit the bottom of how shitty the world is, how shitty people are to each other, and hopefully just little at a time.
But it's fascinating, like, we're being sold, I think, whether it's media, social media, whether it's news, that there's all this strife. But like when you go out today, I think I put a social media post on this morning. I was compelled. I went to CVS out here, and a young lady was working the counter, and there was an elderly woman trying to cash out. It was taking her a while, and this young girl was so patient and kind, and like just laid back, relaxed, made the lady feel wonderful because she was relaxed. And I'm behind them, so I'm watching all this like for 5-7 minutes just to cash out 2 things. Huh. But I told her, I said, that was really great how you were with that. And she said something to me like, she goes, well, she deserves nothing less. And I was like, wow, for a 18, 19, 20-year-old to recognize that. See, there's so much good shit happening all the time, but are we programmed to really notice it? And I have to intentionally open my eyes and take a deep breath, Nikki, and say, hey, that was awesome. That's the kind of stuff that's happening everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
But we're not paying attention to it.
No, we're not. Because everybody's just driven to look at the next negative thing that's going on. Right?
We're having them do that to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's got to do their own work, though. That's the thing.
Yes.
If you and I and whoever comes in this room or whatever, we can sit and have funny conversations and be enlightening and or anybody who's sharing good quotes or sharing positivity. But if people don't want to take it in, then you can't make anybody change.
So
it
has to come from within.
It really does. Like, and people really got to take a look inside themselves and say, you know what? All right. Today, I'm going to do one good thing a day. I'm going to try to give a compliment or try to give a smile or try to help somebody out.
There.
It really does. And it's when someone does something kind for somebody else, everybody, instead of just saying, wow, that was really kind, they all go, well, they must have done that for a reason. Well, maybe they didn't. Maybe the self-gratification, that's
cynical.
A good thing.
It's so cynical, though.
It's a good thing. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. And as the weeks go on, and maybe we'll do some more shows, and then we can talk about
how fucked up things are.
Hopefully we don't hit the fucking bottom yet.
All right, before you scoot, I wanted to ask you about another. We're going to make a right turn. So I did a father-son podcast with Rocco Koza and his son and Austin Major and myself. They were roughly the same age, 20 and 21. Yeah. It was great. But it was a little sad. And one of the reasons I said that for me is because when they talked about dating, and they're both in college, they talked about the way the kids are maneuvering. Everything's Snapchat now, or all the conversations are text-related. And there was a trepidation about asking or contacting people they didn't know, females they didn't know, because they were worried about being put on blast or being made fun of in social groups and online social groups, and like they just didn't want to deal with the aggravation of it. So their interpretation of what dating is really different than the experience I was used to. And it just seemed to me like, wow, like, there could be a fantastic woman girl, lady, woman, whatever I'm allowed to say now, out there that you want to get to know, but you were afraid of like her turning on you on social media maybe and having people make fun of you. There's a real fear there, like a cyberbullying kind of thing.
Oh, I think cyberbullying's so real.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that for a second because it really opened my eyes. And again, it wasn't a specific circumstance where there was any real deeply negative circumstance, but it was there, and it was stopping them from socializing, even on the dating front.
horrible.
It was fucking, and I didn't want to make a big deal on the show.
No,
the more I've sat and contemplated, it's like, geez, I mean, I don't know. So the whole thing on cyberbullying, I've done a little bit of deep dive in that, and it is so different than the bullying that I remember.
No.
Totally different. Totally different.
Yeah, if you got bullied, I mean, it happened in person or in school, and then, I mean, typically you'd run into someone face to face, and you was handled.
Generally.
Right. So now everybody's a big internet tough guy.
Yeah.
Half the time, the people that are bullying you, you never even see. So, you know, it's a whole different level. I don't think it's allowing people who are on the receiving end of it to even be themselves. I couldn't even imagine the whole dating part of it, you know, as you were talking about. The whole idea.
Well, they're not dating. They're not
they're
really
just afraid to date.
Like that whole thing about meeting a stranger, and then getting to know them over coffee or whatever. They're not even doing that stuff. Yeah. It's like, it's different now.
No.
It's different now. There's not as much socialization.
Well, no. And, you know, and then so it would, to me, I guess, be similar to the dating websites like Match.com, Plenty of Fish, things like that. It's all internet based, and you have nothing but a picture, right? Because everybody, you obviously have to be physically attracted to somebody, clearly. I mean, everybody's idea of what they think is good looking is different.
Sure.
But, you know, that's what you have to go by. So the whole internet idea of all of that, I mean, that person could be the most beautiful person in the world. It would be a fucking asshole. I guess that's what dating is. Where the hell do you meet people? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I that whole cyberbullying thing, to me, I never took seriously because I always thought it was so. And believe me, when I listened to these two young men, I did think elements of it was like, wait a second. You know, come on, snap out. This doesn't matter. Like, what are you talking? What do you give a shit what people think about you? But I just step back and say, I'm not in their shoes. I'm not there. I probably would be worried about what people said about me.
I really want to go back and watch that because I'm very interested, just even from the standpoint of like, my son probably understands.
That's where I'm going with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be
like, just be aware that because I just thought everything, and Rocco thought with Gabe that everything was just normal. And we made the assumption that, well, their experiences are, you know, like our experiences. And that's a huge mistake. From generation to generation, it's always different. But it's more different. There's no more greater difference than the era right before the web and the current web generation. Big cavernous divide there of differences, you know, and I just caught me off guard like, holy shit.
Right.
I don't know anything. What is going on there?
Right. And I mean, just you can see the margin of obviously divorce rate and thing, you know, and I feel like that is obviously has a great level to do with.
I think so. Oh yeah, just because they're not getting that unified front at home.
Because everybody can go and get their attention on a screen now.
Yes,
pseudo attention.
Well, I think, like you mentioned it earlier, parents are probably using those like my parents did. They used the television when I was young to babysit me. You know,
right.
I mean, every parent does it to some degree. No, there are no perfect parents out there, but now it's so much easier. They're walking around with a diversion.
Right.
Give them the phone, let them sit in the corner for like 5 hours.
Right.
Not fucking healthy.
Yeah.
But the way that young men and ladies are interacting and finding each other is so different than what I remember.
No, I know. And honestly, it's either that or it's a bar.
Yeah, but the bar was organic though.
It was then. Yeah, it was. And now everybody's, I mean, it's the people are drinking for pure effect now.
Like, what do you mean?
I feel like the enjoyment of going and having a few drinks to just unwind is, I feel is more, I need effect. I need to drink for effect.
You have to. So you're saying I'm drinking to get into a certain state?
Yes.
Or am I drinking to brag about it on social media?
No. To get into a certain state.
Because I can't function unless I get in there? Possibly. Wow.
But I think that's a dealing with life thing. I think that's
you've observed this over the last couple of years.
Well, I mean, I've been bartending for 20 years.
That's what I mean. Like you can see the change. Okay.
The change.
Interesting.
The change. Yeah.
Interesting.
The change. And I mean, honestly.
So are they drinking faster to get there quicker?
I mean, it could be that. I think everybody's level of stress has changed too, and you know, you never know what somebody's really going through unless they tell you. A lot of people tell you, or the more they drink, they tell you a lot. Tell you some shit you don't want to know.
No wonder you love psychology so much.
Yeah,
you're a bartender. I forgot about that.
So,
of course.
But yeah, I think you know, people processing that way. But it's, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, maybe you like meet somebody at a bar or whatever. But like, now that's kind of hard because everyone's there for a reason, right?
Okay.
You're not just like, oh, I stopped after work to have a cocktail. Like, we've been camped out here for like 6 hours. Like, I'm definitely not meeting anybody here tonight. Even if I find somebody attractive, it's like, yeah, you're probably putting in a good shift by the time, you know, so... But like, you know, the college kids, that's what they do. They do their studies and then they probably go out with their buddies or their girlfriends and do their drink or clubbing or whatever it is that they do. And then it's like, who definitively do you meet genuinely at that stage when you're inebriated? I don't know.
Yeah, not always good.
Yeah. Maybe for like an hour, but yeah.
Until the next morning, like,
yeah.
Oh, God.
Right.
Bad stories there.
Yeah. So,
my friend, did you have fun?
Yeah. Love you so much.
Yeah.
So genuine.
Well, we need to do this more often.
I know.
On a regular basis. I have ideas. Yeah. I'd love to have you on some of these panel shows I'm doing too.
I would love to do that. For sure. Yeah. Let's not make it.
She's on record now saying that. So when she doesn't appear, then y'all can like give her some shit.
Yeah. Let's not make it so long. But
you got it.
Genuinely such a.
Well, you seem like you're in a great place.
I am. Thank you for thank you for nagging me to get back in here.
At first I thought I must have done something. She's not. You know, I sent her a message like 3 weeks later. She came back. Oh, I'm still around, but I'm not
alive.
Ready. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to see you.
You too.
All right, love. All right.
Bye.
We're out.